Hello everybody, welcome to Mind Over Natter. Today we're going to be looking at meditation. John Danvers is going to give us a mindful introduction to it, so I'll just let him take it away and then we can have some questions at the end. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is this on?
Yeah.
Yeah? You can hear okay? All right. Well, thanks Hannah for inviting me, and thanks for coming everybody with defying the rain and inclement weather. My name is John Danvers. I'm the Buddhist chaplain here on the at Exeter, but I'm not going to mention Buddhism again in this session. So I'm just going to try and give you a little introduction to mindful meditation, including a little period of guided meditation, so you get some sense of what it's about, what it's like to experience. My background is that I started doing a form of mindful meditation called Zazen in 1965. So I have a certain amount of experience of it. But that's only going back to 1965. The practice of mindful meditation in different forms has been going on for probably about 2,500 years in a kind of documented way. So it is a very ancient practice, and the fact that it's so ancient suggests that some people at least have found it very beneficial and helpful. So if we think about mindful meditation, I suppose an immediate thought is what is the purpose of it? And in short, the overall or the most important purpose is to alleviate suffering, that is unnecessary suffering. And I'll mention a bit more about that in a minute. So we're trying to establish composure, peace of mind, and freedom from disturbance in many different forms. So the disturbance might take the form of anxiety, a general sense of discord, or conflict, or depression, or a general kind of dissatisfaction. All of those things are things that mindful meditation can help us with in different ways. And at its simplest, mindful meditation is about observing our experiences in a clear and balanced way to come to an understanding of who we are and how we are in the world. So there's nothing arcane or supernatural or whatever about it. It's a very straightforward activity. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy, but it is simple and straightforward. So the way we do this is to pay attention to all aspects of our experience, without our usual tendency to comment on our experience or to make judgments about it, or to react in other ways to the things we experience from moment to moment. So by doing that, we get a feeling that we're no longer at the mercy of our feelings and thoughts, our emotions, perceptions, memories and plans and so on. We tend to live more in the present and much less in the past and the future. Of course, past and future only make sense within the present anyway, but that's another point. So what I thought we could do is just spend a bit over 5 minutes experiencing what mindful meditation is. So I'm going to do a guided meditation, which just involves you sitting quietly, listening to what I'm saying, and hopefully doing the kinds of things that I'm going to suggest. You can do mindful meditation with your eyes open or closed, but I think for the purposes of this, it's probably easiest if you close your eyes, and I'll just sort of guide you through it. I'm going to say more than would be usually said in a guided meditation, because the emphasis is on the silence and the experience you're having. But that's only to sort of describe what we're doing. So, first thing is just to settle yourself in your seat, move around a little bit, and maybe stretch if you've got room without poking your neighbour. And then, in a stable posture, just to close your eyes, and first of all, just attend to your breath, to the breathing. You're not trying to force your breath in any way. You're just observing the breath as it comes in, the breath as it goes out. Feel the movement of the air. Feel the movement of your diaphragm, your body responding to that intake of breath and the exposure of breath. In a sense, you're being the breath. That's where you are. You're in the out breath and the in breath. Now, keeping your eyes closed, extend your awareness to the body, to your posture. Feel the way your body is composed at the moment on the seat that you're on. Feel the way your limbs form. Sensation of the skin, perhaps on your hands and face. Notice the small movements that your body's making. The body's never still. You're breathing in, you're breathing out, you're adjusting your posture and so on. There might be moments when you feel still and at ease. There might be moments when you've got a tendency to fidget or to move, or you've got an itch somewhere. Feel how your hands are lying. The feet touching the ground. Sensation of the floor beneath your feet. Feel the weight of your body on the seat. And now I want you to just extend your awareness to your perceptions, to the sounds that you hear. My voice, sounds in the background, possibly distant sound of dripping, of rain. Taste of the air, the movement that you can feel, movement of air on your skin. And even with your eyes closed, you get a sensation of light, changing light, movement of your eyes under the eyelids. Feel these connections that we've got with the world around us, because our perceptions are an important way in which we engage with the world and the way the world engages with us. Perceptions are windows through which we experience. Now, with your eyes still closed, I want you to just tend to any feelings that you might experience at this moment. Maybe unpleasant, pleasant, or neutral. Maybe a feeling of being at ease. Or you may feel slightly agitated, nervous, irritated, blissful, or maybe bored. Just notice how these feelings, again, relate you to yourself, to other people, and to the world. Notice how the feelings change slightly. There may be a dominant feeling, there may be something else going on. Just sit with that experience. And now, keeping your eyes closed, pay pay attention to the thoughts that are coming and going. Maybe thoughts about what we're doing now in this room. Sometimes thoughts about what you've got to do later or what you did yesterday. Memories sometimes just pop into our heads. Random thoughts just appear out of nowhere. If we were sitting for longer, daydreams might arise. We go on little journeys, have adventures. Stories, little narratives that we make up in our heads. There might be thoughts about what we said to somebody, or maybe what we should have said, or should not have said. Thoughts may take the form of judgments that we're making about ourselves or about other people, about our appearance or someone else's appearance, what they said, how they acted. Be aware of that and the commentary that's going on, often meandering all over the place, a lot of the time not even under our control, the kind of chattering that goes on. And again, notice how these thoughts are expressions of connection and relationship with ourselves and with the world around us. And now just come back to the breath. A gentle experience of breathing in and breathing out. Okay, just open your eyes. Come back to the visible world. As I say, in a normal period of mindful meditation, you haven't got somebody like me chattering away. But what you have got a lot of the time is the chattering that goes on, for most of us, in our heads a lot of the time. And a lot of that chatter, a lot of the narrative that's going on in our heads is a combination of a commentary that we're making on what's happening around us, or possibly plans that we've got where we're thinking about the future, or we're examining or exploring things that have happened in the past. Mindful meditation is about being present to all of those things in the present, and trying to let go of our usual tendency to comment in that way. Yeah? Because an experience happens, we hear a sound, the screech of a seagull. Almost immediately, we have a kind of response to that sound. I can't stand that screeching seagull. Why doesn't it shut up? I'm trying to concentrate on it. Yes? On that kind of level. And for a lot of our experience, it becomes more and more difficult to separate the experience, the sound of the seagull, from all the things that we then add around it. And a lot of the stuff that we add to it is often not very important, and it can often cloud the experience that we're having in the first place, and distance us from that experience. So being mindful is about coming back to the present and experiencing as clearly as possible what is happening from moment to moment. So we're in the practice of mindful meditation. we're developing awareness and we're developing concentration and patience. We're learning to let go rather than to hang on to things, releasing rather than containing. When we can be at ease with each passing moment, as in what we've just been doing, in a sense we're more at ease with ourselves and with the world. And that's good for our well-being. It enables us to act more kindly and wisely towards ourselves and towards other people and the world in general. So the benefits that people report, again going back a long time from mindful meditation, are these kinds of things. First of all, that we get to know ourselves much more clearly than we might otherwise have done. We develop an understanding of ourselves in a way that's helpful to us, rather than a distorted view of ourselves, which is something that many of us carry around from moment to moment. We also realise that things are always changing. Nothing stays the same. Even unpleasant thoughts or feelings eventually pass. We tend to feel more connected to ourselves and to other people and to the world. And I suppose the most important thing is we maybe come to realise what an amazing thing it is just to be here in the world, to have awareness, to be conscious, to be alive is a pretty miraculous thing. The chances of our being here are incredibly remote. And if we can be mindful, to be present to what's happening from moment to moment, life becomes full of surprises and enjoyment, much more enjoyment of things. And if mindful meditation was only something we did 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes a week in a formal kind of setting, it would have probably very limited benefit. But mindful meditation is something that we can do anywhere, anytime. We don't need any technology. In fact, let go of technology. We just need to be present to what's happening. So if we can be mindful even when we're doing routine chores, when we're cleaning our teeth or washing up or walking from one place to another, those experiences are transformed simply by being present to them. But being present to them at the same time not making the kind of commentary that we're often doing and not making judgments. We tend to make judgments about things from moment to moment when we're probably not aware we're doing it. In fact, we only become aware we're doing it when we sit in this rather artificial way and be mindful of what's going on. So, cleaning teeth and sweeping or walking from one building to another can be transformed. It can be an enjoyable experience. We notice small things and get a lot of pleasure out of them. Or I do anyway. I don't think I've got anything more really to say. What about anybody got any questions or comments, or how was that experience? Yeah?
One of the things that the benefits you mentioned is knowing ourselves more clearly. But does that imply that we make a judgment on ourselves? Is that then, isn't that almost the opposite of what we were meant to be doing? That just recognising what we are rather than making a judgment?
I think to know yourself in this sense is simply to be aware of yourself more clearly, rather than commenting on who you are, or positioning yourself in relation to someone else, or positioning yourself in relation to some kind of scale of value or whatever that you might have. So just simply trying to be aware rather than aware and then making judgments about things is what we're trying to do. Does that make sense?
Kind of an internal sense of who I am, rather than one which says about do I succeed, am I failing, am I winning, am I losing? Am I being faster
Yes.
or slower?
Yeah, you're letting go of that usual tendency to do all of those things, just in favour of being present and observing what's happening. Yeah? It's very hard. The difference is, because one of the things that happens is that when we observe ourselves and let go of that usual tendency to comment on things almost immediately, gives us a tiny bit of space between ourselves and our experiences, which means we can act in a wiser manner than we otherwise would have done. All right? Yeah?
You've got one pen ring.
Go on, who's first then? Yeah, okay.
I just wondered if you've got a problem or a worry or something awful that's happened to you, how it can dominate your thoughts completely. How does this technique stop you from ruminating?
When you're doing mindful meditation, in a sense, you have to let go of the tendency to have an intention. Yeah? Well, if you sit in mindful meditation and the intention is to be calmer, to be peaceful, to be at rest and so on, in fact, most of those things don't happen. You agitate the mind. If you're just there, and over a period of time, you learn this art of letting go of the tendency to react or to have intentions or whatever, just to be present. That, in a funny sort of gentle way, helps you deal with thoughts that may be oppressive or dominating or whatever. You're learning the art of letting go. It's quite difficult for us because most of us feel that when we've got a problem, we have to do something to solve it. Mindful meditation takes the approach that initially we have to let go of our desire to do something, just to be present and to see things as they are. So we see the problem more clearly and have a kind of wiser, more measured response to it. But it's an art that you learn over a period of time. If you've not done mindful meditation and something terrible happens and you're wrapped up in it and so on, it's more difficult to get out of that situation because, possibly because you haven't got the skill of being mindful. Does that make any sort of sense?
Yeah, so in effect you're giving your brain a break.
I suppose you could see it like that, but it's not like you're trying not to think or trying not to analyse. It's just you're setting aside that capacity that we've got as human beings and not doing it in a habitual way. We're doing it when we choose to do it rather than doing it all the time in a way that's almost out of our control.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Thank you.
Right. Anything else? Someone else?
I think what I had to say might be kind of similar in a way. I feel like there are quite a lot of situations in life where there are injustices. So that might relate to gender inequality or it might relate to the climate and environmental crisis. And those are probably the two things that I feel most anxiety about. And your message in some ways can kind of come across as, just forget about your problems and then they'll be less problematic. Like if you stop worrying about your problems, then they won't be so big, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't think that is really your message, but it feels as if the way of dealing with injustice should be to sit still and just let it all wash away. But that's quite a challenging idea to get my head around. So What are your recommendations about that?
Okay. It's not that injustice goes away, but if you could see yourself in a more balanced, clearer fashion, then issues that you might be dealing with, you can also see in a clearer, more composed fashion. So when you do something, when you want to do something about it, you might have a clearer and more balanced view of what it is that you've got to do. So you can act often in a more direct, thoughtful way than you might otherwise have done. But at the same time, you're not being dragged around by our habitual tendency to worry, to fixate on things. A lot of that process of scurrying around, people talk about washing machine mind, it's this churning over of things. A lot of that is not helpful at all. A lot of it is instinctual and habitual. It's something we've got no control over. If we can see that for what it is and get a little bit of distance between that process and ourselves, we can then begin to act in a more thoughtful, considered way and do things which are perhaps going to be more beneficial and less harmful to ourselves. Does that make sense?
So it can allow you to get a bit more of a perspective on things.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Any other questions in here? No? Anyone in Penryn or St Luke's?
Yeah?
No, thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you.